But yeah, Daily Hip Hop Conversations.
Let me hear. What are we talking about today?
But yeah, we're talking about subgenres, and Mike had a question that was asked to him on Tumblr. He wrote an article about it. You know, that's on the website. We'll put the link down to the article in the description. You guys can go check it out. So it led to a conversation between Mike and, you know, a few folks on Twitter. So, you know, we decided, you know, I thought the conversation I thought it was interesting because I think people have, you know, at times talked about hip hop being, you know, having certain labels or falling in certain categories or lanes, as people like to say. So we decided to just bring it here and just talk about it. You know, does hip hop need subgenres? If so, why? If not, why not? And you know, and so here we go. What
the reason why I think we need subgenres is because, you know, I think the prime example is like in our comments where people discredit ASAP or the game, and it's because a lot of people think that hip hop is only supposed to be these super lyrical people, but that's not what all hip hop is, and that's not real hip hop. It's part of hip hop. But I think that for me personally, I've always thought that 2 Chainz is hip hop, Jeezy's hip hop, Shorty Low is hip hop. Even though I don't support that type of hip hop, but it's all hip hop. Everybody just has a different lane, and you can't, to me, be like this person's whack because he doesn't rap like this person. But if they're in 2 separate lanes, then you're comparing apples to oranges, and that's not fair to one artist or the other.
But you don't think people are still going to do that, even if you do put people in the subgenre? Because you can do that now, but people are still going to make those comparisons.
I think people will always, you know what I'm saying? Just like in sports, you know, we talk about people from the 60s and 70s and try to compare them to the people now. And even though I know I do it, and I think that people, regardless of how concrete or how loose the subgenre hip-hop thing is, people are always going to do it. But I just think that it'll provide more structure. So
wait a second.
It's going to provide too much structure. If you start putting subgenres, stringent subgenres in hip-hop, all you're doing is you're restricting the artist.
So you're saying in your world of subgenres, what? No, that, you know, if in your world, if hip hop had subgenres, that people will still compare artists from different subgenres to each other, even though there's a line distinctly drawn between the two.
But here's the thing, I don't ever think that you could really draw like a distinct line between certain subgenres, the ones that are kind of close to each other. Because like you could draw a distinct line between 2 Chainz and Joey Badass. That's very evident. But let's say 2 Chainz and Jeezy. You know what I'm saying? That line is a little bit more blurred. 2 Chainz and Waka. That line is a little bit. If they aren't in the same subgenre, you know what I'm saying? Those lines are a little bit more blurred because they're closer to each other. So the further people are, of course you can't compare Waka to Joey. So you should.
So you will still do it? Yeah.
Of course. Joey to Waka?
Yeah. People are gonna be like, Joey Badass, that's real hip hop. Waka is not real hip hop. Well, why? Because Joey Badass sounds like this. Adding a subgenre is not gonna fix anything.
But I think that it alleviates, at least from my perspective, the fact of like this is his lane. Like he's party, trap, this, that, and the third. Why are you comparing him to somebody that is very New York boom bap?
Yeah, that's what people do.
So why are you using the same criteria based on how to judge somebody?
Exactly. Why are you using the same
So you think it should be like just boom bap hip hop, trap music hip hop?
But then who's the fucking gatekeeper for this?
Who
Who is it that's gonna say, oh, well, this person is in this lane and only this lane? Like, who's gonna be responsible for that? And the other issue that we're leaving out, who the fuck even creates these stupid ass subgenres? The artists don't. Like, no fucking rapper ever comes out and says, you know what? I'm fucking conscious hip hop. You know what? I'm esoteric Eastern trap music. No one does that. The fucking other people do that shit. So then they get pissed off because they're thrown into that category and they can't escape it.
That's what Slug was saying that time. He mentioned that.
On our interview.
Yeah.
Right. And the same thing with Tyler. Tyler hates to be called horrorcore, even though not everything, but most of the stuff about his music puts him in that category, but he doesn't want to be in that category.
hip hop artist.
He's just a hip hop artist. Just like everybody is a hip hop artist. And the thing about it is, if you get into hip hop, you're gonna be compared to other people. Period. That's just not gonna stop.
So you think Soulja Boy should be considered a hip hop artist?
No, that's not what I
That's
said.
not what he's
I'm
saying.
saying he should.
Every-
He
should.
should. A different
He
type
said
of hip hop.
right. That
What
everybody.
type though? What type is that? Shitty. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what type of, you know, why would you want to put these labels on these different
He
artists?
just said it, B.
All right, to answer a couple of the points that Mike went on to was who's the gatekeeper of this? I don't know. You know, I don't necessarily think that. I'm not saying like it has to be completely structured like that, but I definitely think that people have lanes, but they're not clearly defined lanes either.
Like you don't think people take consideration?
I think they're defined by.
So what are the lanes?
No, I'm just saying trap, conscious hip hop, boom bap, West Coast hip hop.
But then conscious hip hop
gangster
can then fall
hip-hop.
under boom bap though.
Okay, so those two are more clear. So we just merged them two together.
Right.
West Coast hip hop, East Coast hip hop.
But you can't do West Coast hip hop because then you got Kendrick, then you got DJ Quick, then you got Eazy-E. They don't sound alike.
So they don't
Snoop
have a
Dogg.
West Coast sound. So
Right.
Kendrick's on the West Coast, but he doesn't do West Coast hip hop.
Right. See, that's what
Okay,
the
so
problem is.
so he
That's what
falls
I'm
in
saying.
another subgenre then.
Right, because then you're gonna end up having subgenres of subgenres. Then you're gonna have subgenres of fusion genres.
I don't think
and
we
it's
have
too much.
subgenres of subgenres. I think Kendrick Lamar on the West Coast would say, you know what, I like boom bap. I live out west. I'm gonna do boom bap type of hip hop, and then he's gonna be in that subgenre of hip hop.
So he's in the same category as Apathy,
He would be if that's the type of music he makes.
and they can't even remotely be compared because they don't sound anything alike. They don't do the same type of hip hop.
But people, I think if I'm a consumer and I'm looking for a certain type of artist that makes a certain type of music,
Right.
I think the subgenre, and I think this is kind of maybe, I don't know if people is trying to make this point or saying this, but I think if I had a subgenre, I know where to go find these artists. If I'm on iTunes and I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna just go to hip hop, and in hip hop you have all of these artists that's listed on there from Waka to such and such, Waka to Joey Badass to ASAP. And we know ASAP and Joey Badass two different, distinct different sounds. How would I know which one to buy if I'm just a random fan and I'm not paying that much attention
Go
to the
in
culture?
alphabetical order.
What if I'm buying
A,
something for
and
somebody?
start. You say what if you buying what?
So you saying go in alphabetical order?
Yeah, it's hip. It's the culture. It's hip hop. Everybody gonna be
But it
different.
all sounds different.
But that's
That's hip hop
okay,
culture.
So if you like you said you're trying to buy something for somebody.
If I'm trying to- yeah,
your
right.
girl, she says, you know what? I like swag rap.
Okay?
Right? So
Right.
then you're going to try to find swag rap.
I'm on
So
iTunes.
then you're on iTunes trying to
Okay.
find swag rap. You might find everything from Little B to ASAP to Kool Keith under
Okay.
swag rap. So it's like, what if you can't be certain that you're gonna get the right thing? Because these subgenres, they're too broad.
But you're in the vicinity though. Like you're in the area. You're like
It narrowed it down. You see what I'm
Instead of
saying?
everybody.
It didn't really because
How didn't it?
because you can have just like you said with conscious and boom bap. There can be a million different artists listed under conscious that might also be listed under boom bap. So it's like, how do you make the difference? And then you might have somebody that might be under boom bap that someone might throw into the swag rap era because you might have someone that's lists like Slick Rick.
that's a filing error.
No, it's not filing error. No, it's not filing error. It's a matter of everybody has a different opinion of what something is. And you can't make a subgenre so strict that it has a definition to where you can't escape it. And then you also have a problem of what if you're an artist? And an artist is supposed to make art, and the art is supposed to be a reflection of you. So you're saying that if you have these subgenres, if Nas is thrown into what is Nas thrown into?
I like boom bap.
Okay, so if Nas is thrown into boom bap, so he can't make a song about his daughter? What was that song called? Daughters. So he can't make that song because that didn't sound like a boom bap song.
No, he can make the song, but his
Wait.
But you're
Mike, you're going to the extreme. Just because somebody may be in a certain lane of hip hop, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only thing they could do. Because you're right, an artist has the creative freedom to do whatever they want. Their music, what they produce, puts them into where they want. Just like you said with Tyler, right? His content made him into horrorcore, even though he himself is saying that I don't want to be associated with that label and I'm not trying to make that music. But by the music he made, that's what he's associated with.
Right.
Okay, so that's a lane. But he can make whatever else he wanted. He could
What
go.
happens then?
What do you mean? What happens
What happens
then?
then?
What if so then that album or that project is not in that lane.
So then you got one artist that has different projects in different subgenres.
But here's the thing. But how many artists you know really vast that far from what?
A lot of them.
Who?
Nobody sticks. Not all artists just stick to the same sound throughout their entire career.
No, they don't. And
Look at Kanye. So you
Okay.
tell me that all of Kanye's albums are gonna be in 10 different fucking subgenres?
Outside of 808 and Heartbreaks, all of Kanye's music sounds. He's in.
No.
it doesn't.
College Dropout don't sound nothing like my.
And Graduation doesn't either.
Thank you. I'm about to say, yeah, Kanye albums are very, all of them are different.
Yeah.
Because he was on some soul sampling shit on College Dropout.
He was.
I don't think they're that far different.
I
though.
think they are.
I think the only one that
Graduation and 808. Because Graduation is way different.
well, 808 is different from all of them.
Yeah.
But
But I'm just saying, College Dropout. If you listen to College Dropout and My Beautiful, you tell me they.
I'm not saying it's the same exact, but it's still Kanye sound.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
but what subgenre would that be in?
He said it's an R&B album. Didn't he say
Yeah, he did say that.
Right.
But he's stupid.
808s. So 808s.
No, I'm saying,
Yeah.
what subgenre would you put Kanye's albums in?
I would put him in conscious. I think when he started out, you don't think he was making conscious hip hop?
No! Kanye West.
He's conscious about himself.
Yeah, Kanye West is not conscious
Early in the
hip hop.
beginning of his career.
I put the pussy in the sarcophagus. What is that fucking conscious? What songs are conscious?
Wait, what is it? Gold Digger? All falls down to
Gold Digger ain't no damn conscious hip hop.
He did make music.
How you look like Common and you calling fucking Kanye?
I thought he did make songs that have.
That's another
but
example.
that
Electric
have
Circus.
meaning.
Right. Universal Mind Control.
Right.
Those albums sound completely different from B.
So what do you do then?
Right.
You have to put them in three different subgenres?
So when I
Universal Mind Control sound.
Yeah.
And then you got that, and then you got I Used to Love Her. So what would you put Common in that situation? That's
So
a
I think one of the things that you're saying, if you look at it, because I used to work at a record store, so I understand that, and I'm going back, even though now the way people buy albums are completely different. You know, they go online, they click and purchase, right? But reflecting back 10 years ago, when you go into warehouse music and you have what they used to call rap, you have this section, and what you're saying is that you have artists that make one style of music, then he comes back and make another style of music, then he comes back and make another style of music. And what I hear when you say that is I hear, you're saying, where do you put them? Now you have these artists in 3 different sections. So now their music is fragmented out for the consumer. So I come in and I'm looking for Kanye West, for instance. And Kanye West has made 3 different styles of albums. Instead of going to one section to find all of Kanye West's albums, I'm going here, and here.
Right.
So if I go to a clerk and say, okay, I want to buy a Kanye West album.
But
Go look there, and go look there.
But
It should just be-
what you said earlier was, if you go to iTunes, right, and you're looking for swag rap, that's what you're looking for, right? Now, if you say, I want a Kanye West album, they're gonna give you all of Kanye's albums. But if you come to them with a subgenre, then Kanye may only have one album in his
If they
subgenre.
come looking for the subgenre.
Okay.
Right? So if I like Kanye West and I just want a Kanye West
You
album,
can still get them all, because the clerk should
But I
know
gotta
what
go to-
all Kanye West albums are.
But he's saying that you have to go through all these different sections to get them. And that means you have to file Kanye here, you got to file Kanye here, and you got to file Kanye here.
That's in the older era,
That's
though.
ridiculous.
That is
Okay,
in the
but
older
even now, have you ever downloaded an album and then actually looked at the genre that they tag it in iTunes? They're fucking ludicrous. They're always like these 10-word fucking genres, because it's like people for some reason think that if they say that they only listen to this type of music, then it makes them sound cooler. And it might not just be, I listen to R&B or I listen to jazz. It's I listen to European fusion free jazz. Why the fuck can't you just listen to jazz? Like, why does it have to be so goddamn complicated?
because there are different styles of jazz.
I know, but I feel like
Like smooth jazz is completely different.
I
from-
agree with you, but
Regular
that's not what I'm saying. Like, you can have your very base genres. That's fine. Like
Okay.
free jazz, freestyle jazz. Then you have, like you said, smooth jazz or like house jazz, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, those are very base. But then you have some artists that might do smooth jazz, but they might want to throw in a little bit of freestyle jazz in there. So where do they follow?
I think
The one that I think the one.
Lane.
Well, no, I think the
See,
one.
that's what. There you go.
But I'm saying, there's nothing wrong
There you
with
go.
there's nothing
So
wrong with
now
I trying to
you have
identify.
20 different fucking subgenres. You just proved the point that I was trying to make.
I think-
You created a new lane. Okay, so then when they do something else, they add another fucking section. Oh, now you got a new lane.
Okay, so
But jazz is a great example of that because jazz has undergone many transformations.
Exactly.
Miles Davis, he as an artist, he did every single type of jazz you know.
Right.
He even dabbled in rap. So the thing is, but when people go look, but back to your point, is that when people listen to jazz, people hate. At one point in time, people hated smooth jazz.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like
but,
music.
right, but smooth jazz and acid jazz are completely different. So if I'm going to look for a jazz artist and I want to find something new and I want to find something that sounds like a certain thing, I don't want to just randomly take a chance on somebody and it's acid jazz and I hate it. But if I had a subgenre, I know that, okay, all of these guys do acid jazz. I'm gonna stay away from this.
You think?
So you're with the whole.
He's with-
subgenre.
I think subgenres is not a bad thing because hip hop right now it has so many different styles to it and it's evolving into so many different areas.
And I agree. And I don't think that there is anything wrong with trying to identify what artists are pushing creatively. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like if an artist does something, boom, now there's a new subgenre, there's a new lane. What's wrong with that?
Because it gets too convoluted. When you have all these fucking subgenres, it's like, first of all, who's gonna create them? Who's gonna be, like I said before, who's gonna be the gatekeeper?
And this is
but I'm saying, but it's your hypothesis. So then you have the artist. Do they agree with them? Because look at someone like LP. You know, look at Fantastic Damage versus Cancer for Cure. Those albums are completely dissimilar. So you can't just say, oh, and fuck, what do you even put him in? Let me ask you that. What category would you put LP in?
In my subgenre that I would put him in, it'd be vast. You know what I'm saying?
He's vast hip hop?
No. Lyricists. No?
That's ridiculous.
So it's-
Okay, wait. Flag on the play.
Is it though?
Where's
Is
the
it?
flag?
Is
Flag
it?
on the play. No, come on. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, what? Thank you, kid. Flag on the play. Wait a minute. Okay. So LP would be in.
It would be lyricist.
It would be in the lyricist subgenre. Who else is in this category? Is Kendrick Lamar in there? Or is he in the West Coast genre with Kid?
I mean, you could put Rick Ross.
In my he's a lyricist to me.
Okay, so is Big Pun in there too?
Big Pun is there.
So
Right, is Biggie Smalls in there too? What about Danny Brown? Is Danny Brown in there too?
For me personally, yeah.
Okay, now, with your example, if I walk into Ken's record store and I tell the clerk, you know what? I want some lyricist hip hop. And he takes me to this category. I got LP, I got Big Pun, I got Danny Brown, artists that sound nothing alike, and Kendrick Lamar, artists that sound nothing alike. That subgenre is now completely useless.
Wow.
Completely useless. Because those sounds are completely dissimilar. None of those artists sound alike.
but at the end of the day, they
So why
all
don't you
still
just-
lyrics
It's the
though.
fact that their lyrics,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, are dope. They're lyricists.
Exactly.
Okay? No, but I'm just saying that would be my
No,
subject.
First of all,
It's not.
First of all,
Those artists are known for their lyrics.
it doesn't matter. Rap, hold on, rap,
We're not all
rap.
known for the
Rap.
lyrics.
Let's just say it. That's a bad subgenre.
That's a real bad subgenre.
So let's
That's not a
kill-
bad subgenre. I'm with it.
Lyricist? No.
not a-
Yes.
Okay, so is
I think
Slick
it needs
Rick in
to
there too?
So it gotta be storytelling.
Now look at him grinning too. Look at him grinning too. After storytelling, I got Mike. Right. Oh, exactly. But so Slick Rick isn't a lyricist.
Biggie storytell too.
Uh oh.
But he's.
Uh-oh. See,
But I'm the cameraman. Y'all can be doing that. I'm the cameraman. Y'all can't be kidding me like that. Y'all can't. Hold on. So Biggie was in the lyrical. Good. Biggie,
Yeah, according to Raphael, he was.
I mean, but of course it would take time to really. This is the thing. It'll take time to really say, okay, so is he more a lyricist or he's more a storyteller?
Exactly. That's
But no, but what?
pointless.
But once we do that, we like, okay, so he's more storyteller.
we
We're
should
gonna
do
throw him a
about
story.
sound though. Most of
That's what I
I
agree
don't think
with.
so because I think the sound is where you start getting into some trouble. So when you say lyricist, then you can put more people in it, and then people.
that would be the problem.
Not necessarily because it's like when you review a Danny Brown or you review a Kendrick, you're going to counter review it the same because you're going at a lyrical.
Not necessarily, because someone could be okay. Look at Kool Keith,
Okay.
who's rated one of the best lyricists of all time in hip hop. If we reviewed a Kool Keith album, Fifo's gonna hate it. But if we review Kendrick Lamar, he's gonna love it. Now, you have two artists that are in the lyricist lane, that the review's gonna be completely opposite. Just like when we reviewed JJ Doom. You didn't like it at all. And I dare you to tell me that fucking MF Doom ain't a lyricist.
You can be a lyricist with different
That's what I'm
sounds.
saying.
Okay,
Exactly.
but
So I'm a kid on this.
It's not everybody based on their subgenre
The
either.
sound is completely different.
But
Wait, hold on, time out.
Okay.
People like sound.
right.
They like sound. That's why subgenre is broken down.
Exactly why a lyricist, but a lyricist subgenre, you are listening to them for their lyrics. You're not listening.
You listen to
But wait, how you telling me how my subgenre works? How you telling me how
I asked you how you would categorize these people. Now I assumed you meant that your subgenre was going to be standard for everybody, right? Because we're talking about creating subgenres. I thought you were saying, now maybe I'm crazy. I thought you were saying that if we were going to put somebody into a subgenre, you would call it lyricist. Is that what you said?
Sir,
No, is that what you said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, now, if we're in a record store, in Fifo's record store, you would have a lyricist category. And all the artists we named would be in that category, right?
Off the top, yes. Like
Right, so that's why, so yes, I am shitting on your subgenre, and I am telling you that your rules don't make no goddamn sense.
But what I'm saying is, look, there's certain artists, like I say, I don't listen to A$AP Rocky for his lyricism. Like what he's saying, most oftentimes is irrelevant. Because what makes me like him is his flow and his sound.
Okay, but now let me throw something else back at you. Some people will tell you that LP sucks as a rapper. A lot of people think he sucks as a rapper. They say he's better off producing than he is rhyming because his rhymes don't make any sense, and they think he's a bad lyricist.
Okay, so we need to rethink his.
Do we
his
though?
genre.
Do we though? Do we? Because that's exactly my point.
Yep.
That's why this is too confusing. Some people think he's a lyricist. Some people don't think he's a lyricist. Look at Das Racist. Some people think those guys are the best lyricists to come out in the past 5-6 years.
Well, I think that's where majority rule would come in.
Oh man.
No.
Are you serious?
I'm just saying. I don't.
Who's the gatekeeper of this?
That's what I'm saying. I think.
That's bullshit.
But
why can't hip hop just be fucking hip hop? And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you fucking don't.
Because like what he said initially, it's like because a lot of people get bashed because of that. Because you got a 2 Chainz and then
Too
you got
bad.
a Danny Brown.
That's the issue with hip hop, man. Because you know what? Hip hop is really the only genre that does that. You don't compare Metallica to Pink Floyd.
Right.
Hip hop does that because hip hop is a competitive sport.
But I think people are looking for what they like. So
Right.
if I like Joey Badass and I say, hey, I'm looking for something else like this, who do you recommend? People use the descriptors to distinguish hip hop from among the vast number of hip hop artists we have out there, and that's where I think subgenres could help.
Right.
So
With
you-
describing the music.
So you like the idea where iTunes have, like, if you download DJ Premier album, hey, you must like these albums too, and they show like a whole bunch of, I guess, boom bap type of albums. You like that suggestion?
Yeah, I think that's a good. I mean, that's a good idea, but they use it to help sell other albums. But I see where you're going.
Yeah.
But I think that's where subgenres would come into play. I think it would help people find
So they'd be
other
like,
artists that they
you download
like.
Young Jeezy, you would like this T.I. album. You would like this 2 Chainz album.
Because you know what happened?
Not necessarily, because I don't like Young Jeezy at all, but I love T.I. So it's all about sound. Now, of course, you have to filter in these subgenres. That's fine too. So I'm more with Ken's idea than your idea. No offense, but your idea was just whacked out. If you're talking about sound, that makes sense. Like categorize people according to their sound. So you'd put an LP with a K the I or with a Soul. You wouldn't put an LP with a fucking Kendrick Lamar. You just wouldn't.
You know what? I guess because my issue with it is like in the comments where they try to put this artist against that artist. Well, this is real hip hop because he raps like this, and this is not because, for whatever reason. So for me, like a lyric, I guess I'm trying to break it down by the type of artist versus how Ken is with the sound. And that's just a personal thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I hate when you try to compare this guy to that guy. They're two different lanes. But it's two different lanes.
I agree with you 100%.
People are not as smart as you think. And to the example you're saying and the problem that you have in the comment section or just period,
Yeah.
when people try to compare two artists, that's not hip hop's fault. That's that person's fault because they don't understand the descriptors or the people they're trying to compare for whatever reason. They're trying to use it to validate whatever point they're trying to make.
Right.
So it has no relevance to it. So that's why people always say, well, they made two different types of music, or they're a different type of artist, or they're this, that, and the other. So, it is a valid complaint, but the way you're trying to break down subgenres won't eliminate that. What subgenres will do will help put people in lanes, as everybody like to say. We've already created them anyway. They're just not official.